Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Happy Thursday. We're here with Conversations with Rad, hosted by Big Bad Rad. Let's talk, fellas.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. Today, it's a special day. It's been a long time since I've had all these brothers together, right? In the same room, and I'm so elated to see everybody in the same place at the same time. We've done this every Saturday, for the past few months, thanks to Brother Ook. And you'll hear from Uki in a second, but I really, really, I am so glad to see that we on our conversations that we've had, about 7 or 8 of them so far. We talk about where we started from. We started, in Buffalo, and today, where are we, Seth?
We are back in Buffalo, and it's been 40 years. And listen, through all the adversity that we've been through all these years, it's fantastic to be here and to be able to say that. And there's going to be more.
And I'm so freaking happy to see everyone. So you see, I said freaking, but I was going to say something else. But
you're a man of respect and honor.
And so what I want to do is kick it off by, introducing everyone, go around the table for a second and just, kind of say, thank you and welcome. So let's start out with, and I'm not going to make this mistake this time. I'm going to start out with our favorite Uncle Val.
Thank you, and welcome to a conversation with Rad. I've been in Buffalo 38 years. It's crazy, and I've known these fellas that long, so it's a pleasure to see them in person and to speak with them every Saturday. That's my therapy session, is to kick it with these brothers every Saturday.
And I'm so freaking happy. That's going to be a common staple in this one, because I'm using the word freaking for a while. Not because I was drinking some stuff that another brother gave me, and I'll have him speak for himself later. But I'm really happy, to be here with you, Chev. Appreciate it. And next up, it's our brother that came down from Portland, Oregon, to be with us. He's on the West Coast, and most of the time when we're talking, we're a couple hours difference, and he has to do his thing, in a different way. So I'm so appreciative of being here today with our brother Pedro. Say hello.
Hello, folks. So happy to be here with y'all. Man, what is that? 40 years? Do the math. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. Drove through campus today and just trying to look around like our old stomping grounds, and I'm like, this is, I wouldn't say home, but it's a place that we grew up, a lot of life lessons, and just very happy to be with y'all. Yeah.
Thank you, Faye. And I mean,
and I was trying to get away from what's going on up there in Portlandia. I'd rather read the brothers.
I'm going to make sure that the person who's important in your life doesn't hear that part of it. So because it is really good to see you here. I know you have this beautiful landscape and this, these waters and stuff like that in Portland. And each time you stop and send us a video and stuff like that, it's like, wow, I wish I was there. Because the waters are so, nice, and that the greenery is so lush. So thank you, Pedro. Appreciate it.
And everything he said was respectfully. So,
and since our brother just stepped up for a second, and the voice you heard coming in earlier, it's a radio personality, right? And I really asked him to bring us in, introduce us, because it's kind of that sultry voice that comes through when we, over 40 years ago in Buffalo, when we were on, not we, so I wasn't on the radio. These guys were on the radio, and you know, we look forward to hearing their voices on the radio because, again, there wasn't a lot, you know, for us to listen to. And these guys were on campus, you know, telling the stories and, you know, playing the music that, you know, that we knew back 40 years ago. So our brother Seth.
Well, hold on. Before Seth goes, ladies, he's single.
Yeah.
He's single, ladies. Just got to put that out there. He's single.
I'm sorry, Uncle Val. I'm sorry I did not put that out there. And, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, I didn't say that, but yes, he's on the market. That's how I put it. He is on the market.
And he's cheap. Not sure that's gonna help, bro. You know what? I'm actually more thankful to be here than the way you're receiving me. I don't know if I could step that down properly, but thank you, bro. But all of you all have really added to my life. 40 years ago, I showed up here, and I was a year late. But that's not your fault. You showed out. Oh my God. My mom would be the first one to say, I remember when I walked you down the little aisle, she was crying. I said, I told you I want to go to college. I'm sorry I didn't fill out my paperwork on time. I got back, and it meant something. I was in a neighborhood, man, that it was good. But you make a decision to make. You could go either way. I like to know and have the access, but I also had to work on my self-control and my discipline. And I know I needed to leave for a minute. If I could grab a hold of it. And then, from what I left with, I'm an only child, by the way, but ain't been alone, and I'm almost 60.
He's put himself out there, ladies.
The brothers I grew up with. I'm just trying to catch up, fellas, because I know I'm late. Y'all got me. Y'all trying to beat me down, but guess what? Y'all know ain't never been no love lost here. And if I gotta put it on paper or the mic or the data, whatever it is techies, that you got it, because you know what? It's coming right from me. And I mean that. So when I came here, I got a whole nother family, and I didn't think that would happen, but I came with an open mind, and I'm glad, because I'm serious. All of our different backgrounds, all of our different circumstances, you know, everybody done suffered. Everybody's family done suffered, man. But we came in, we didn't know what generation we was of college in our families, but we was in college. And we gonna do this. And then it just got better for me. I'm telling you, y'all changed my life. Mr. Host, I could go around the table, but if I start with the host, I met you later, bro. But you already know I got affinity with your brother that never gonna change my life. He's actually the godfather of my first child. And me and that dude, bro, I can't wait to see him when he comes back.
And we're gonna get into a lot of that stuff. So, you know,
listen, me and T-Day, we had more going than we thought. Okay, but we had a good time. But even from you being here, from here, and us not being from here, and the way we met you, Jamar, bro, I miss Jamar, bro. Don't ever think I forget Jamar, bro. Y'all was some real good cats, man. Smooth, mannerable, and it was just about people. That's what I got from you, bro. And it felt like I was welcome here. And I meet people like you. And we go to the gym, bro. We play some ball. We're not out on the street. We're not hanging out. It's not about 40 ounces. You're going to get some exercise.
we're gonna talk about.
You go to the gym. I ain't mad at you.
We're gonna talk about those 40s as well.
He said he was trying to catch up for that year.
So we're gonna have you catch up. Definitely. Believe me. Before
I didn't mean to take up the
No, it's fine. It is really
But
fine.
I'll summarize with, listen again. You all have added to my life. And for real, I'm just grateful to be here with y'all. All right? So thank you.
As you to our lives.
That's the OG
All
right here.
as due to our lives. So just to let you know, it's reciprocated here. You've added to our lives as well, so we really appreciate it. And we're gonna dig into some of that. So we'll come right back.
You know I got more to tell you. I told you I didn't know your set of questions, Red. Now I see you got a book.
We are. Plus, whenever Seth shows up, you gotta smile. That's the deal right there.
Thank you. And you know what? That's really what I want to do. I'm a serious dude, but I'm a clown.
You know, so and that's what it's all about, right? It's when us brothers get together, you know, on Saturdays when we do the Zoom, we're not in the same room, and you know, everybody knows this already.
I need to do better.
No. What I'm saying to you is, Brother Ook set a time limit of about an hour, and I'll come back around to him to find out why it goes off 6 hours instead of just 1 hour.
Somebody like said who asked how much it's gonna take. They said 22 minutes of it. And I worked on the radio, so I can say a bunch of information in 35 seconds or a minute and 10 seconds. I'm sorry, but you know, again, it was really from the heart, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You
Definitely.
fellas, man, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had a wife and 3 daughters, so testosterone sometimes at another one.
I'll tell you, they take care of me and everything, but sometimes it's a little different, and they know that too. Okay. They tell me, you need to go out.
And we're going to be pulling you out, so I appreciate it, Seth, really. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue going to room just so we can introduce everybody first, right? And then we can start with, you know, damn, I don't know what we're going to start with, so I'm in trouble.
Don't worry,
But-
let Seth choose.
But what I'm going to do is
Just tell them whatever they feel.
Right.
You started the conversation with you.
what I'm going to do is, you know, let me bring in, you know, our brother from so we have Aki TV who's not here today, right? And I think somebody got a moniker of mango tree. So he's from the warm climate that can grow mangoes. And so we're gonna bring in our brother. We're gonna bring in our brother, you know, Frank.
What's up? Happy to be here.
What up? What up? What up?
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna be nice to you because I want more mangoes, but that's not the only reason.
Yeah. Until next year. This season done. The tree here.
So, Frank, thank you for
Yeah.
being here, man.
That's it. What I'm most proud of is that we talked about doing this 8 months ago, and we fucking did it. We all here in the same week. You know, some of us travel from New York City to come to Buffalo. I traveled from Florida to come to Buffalo because I had to be here with these brothers right here. 85 is when we first met Cito, when I first met Seth. And this is 40 years later, and we still bros, still good friends, still in each other's lives. This didn't at time. You know,
Cursed me out a few times.
I love nobody like I love these dudes in this room right here, man. You know, we're missing a couple of fellas. We're missing Marcel, we're missing Dan, we're missing Trevor. Trevor will be here tomorrow.
And C.
And Claude, that's right. Thank you. Claude will be here tomorrow. You know, and
Listen, I'm good with paintbrushes, so I'm gonna brush them in.
yeah, whatever.
Well,
We're in here in spirit. We're here in spirit. And I just want to say that I'm glad to see good things is happening. Good things is happening, man, because we help each other. And we know that we got friends. Nobody in here feels like they're alone because of each other. And that's so important, man.
There's no outsiders in here.
No, exactly.
You know,
I'm
so-
gonna pass the mic to Tony.
Before you pass the microphone over, just
This
before
gentleman right here,
you pass the microphone over,
he will give his last for any one of us.
100%, and I know that, and I felt it, right? And so you said we talked about this 8 months ago that we wanted to be in Buffalo, but here's the thing, right? We're in the same freaking room.
Right. Sure.
We are in the same freaking room. We've done most of our conversations, remotely via Zoom and stuff like that. Today, we're in the same room, around the same table, eating from the same pot that DJ K made for us. So thank you, Paige, Chef Paige.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you for
This
mentioning
will
that.
happen again.
Thank you for mentioning that. We talked about this 8 months ago. It came to fruition, so I appreciate it.
Uncle Vel's plate's still in the kitchen.
And so, as we said, as Frank said, we're gonna throw it over to Brother Tony. I normally don't use the word Tony, right? Because he's better known as Rambo. Rambo.
First blood.
And he didn't want us calling him that. He didn't want us calling him.
So
We brought him in like this, and he embraced it like crazy. And then he became, he was semi-Uncle Rambo.
so Tony, Rambo.
Yes,
sir. London Tony, right?
Yeah.
So it is good to see you here, man. Good to be in the same room with you.
It truly has been an honor, bro, to know you guys. And coming up here was a surreal experience for me. Because I came up here with my stepmother when I was about 16, took a train ride. New York City to see my sister.
Oh, no, keep going. You're fine. Just pull the microphone in front of you. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, I was around 16. Bless her heart.
Did you say Aunt Rose?
Aunt Rose.
Make sure you say it. So Aunt Rose looking down or wherever she's right now.
Right.
Know that you are,
Oh, yeah, she's transitioned.
Yes.
Right. Bless her heart. And so coming up on the train ride, just thinking about that. And not knowing, like another 10 more years after that, I'll become the first eight. Not even knowing that. And it's like, wow, it's like kind of deep, it's salted. Because, to know you brothers, has been truly an honor. Truly an honor. Yes. At the same time, how we all collect together, and we can't forget our brother Tennyson. And that's why we all here.
100%. I believe Tennyson, you mentioned that we wanted to do something for Tennyson as well. And Brother Ook will introduce him, soon. Just putting some stuff together. And so, said, hey, we need to go back to Buff and do some stuff for Tennyson because Tennyson wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm glad you mentioned it. And we will be talking about Tennyson as well because Tennyson is in the midst with us. So, thank you for mentioning him. I know I didn't initially, but, his voice, was going to be, mentioned during our conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that was the fact that we're here with his memory and that we stood for who he was. And at the same time, as I say, thank you, guys, for putting this all together and what you do here, all the rest of y'all, just passing knowledge, information, and so say respect and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Rambo. Thank you, Rambo. Appreciate it. Didn't we
be for real.
Didn't we give Rambo another name from London? Was it Tony London?
London Tony.
London Tony. London Tony.
Tony London.
London
So,
Tony.
You don't know.
I think we nicknames from Rambo to Tony Lee.
Rambo got 35 nicknames.
We pass the Scott sometimes, but that's another story.
So thanks, Tony. I really appreciate, you kind of reintroducing yourself to our, our audience. We've talked to you earlier and stuff like that. And, but now and then we need to come back and, let them know that we're still together, still doing our thing and stuff like that. So thank you. Thank you. I did say that all the conversations we've had, right, is going to culminate into what you see here today, right? Where we're going to bring it all together here, where it started in Buffalo. And, so thank you. All right. And,
May I compliment? May I compliment the host? I must say, no, that listen, my brother, you're looking good. And as I'm looking at your third outfit for the day, you prepared. You prepared. No, we appreciate that.
And I think he's talking about
as you make us pay attention,
It's
make sure
the
stuff
the
is
rad
working.
budget. It's the
You
rad
care
budget.
too.
listen.
It goes.
I'm
so proud of you.
So coming to Buffalo kind of squeezed the budget. So,
I can't tell anything.
Real quick, everybody. Just so everybody knows, we are singing "We Are the World" after this.
Wait, it is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. It is not going to happen.
Yeah,
You a co-anchor?
No.
Oh, you the
So
no, this is Steel O'Brien.
So, but let me just say, let me finish introduce everyone so we can kind of go back with the, the riffing and stuff like that. So I want to bring in, our brother Tito, coming in from North Carolina.
Not
By the way,
White Plains, North Carolina. Not sure. He just be showing up. Folks is retired.
folks hold
on a second. I would like Peter to kind of mention those things, himself. So, coming in from North Carolina, the way of New York City, because it doesn't matter how much he runs away from New York,
he gets pulled back.
He gets pulled right back.
It's in his blood. It's in his blood.
You just keep pulling me
It's
back.
in his blood.
Keep pulling me back. But, I just want to say, welcome, Brother Tito.
Oh man, it's guys, it's a blessing. This to me is a blessing, gift from God. After all, I've been through, and the fact that you guys prayed for me, and life is wonderful for me right now, and I love you guys. What was it? 1985, man. Wanted to leave New York City and get away from New York City.
How many
Come
you
up
see?
here and meet you guys. I met Frank first. I remember. Then meeting Crazy Sap. Trevor,
Why did you put crazy in front of your name?
No,
I'm not sure.
Hold on a second. I know Trevor's going to hear this, so you need to say Trevor Dane.
Trevor Dane, yes. Trevor Dane. I mean, look, I remember, man, myself. I had some hard times, man. I had no place to live. And if it wasn't for these guys, I would have been homeless, man. I love Frank, Steph, Marcel, Danny, Trevor Dane. These guys look out for me, man, big time. And
The
even
infamous.
Frank, man, he's getting arrested. He's getting arrested. And Frank is like, yo, I'm going with him.
It turns out it was the best lesson of his life.
Yeah,
Because
right.
he went and retired from law enforcement. So y'all can't tell us nothing. We was paying attention. We told you.
So there had to be an easier way to get the inner workings of law enforcement than get arrested.
They were doing an independent. It was an independent study.
It was an independent study.
Yeah, that's right.
And listen, Mr. Host, I know I keep interrupting.
It's
this
rough.
person,
It's
but
okay. Yeah,
as he said that,
my man, bro. I love you. You know that. You know that, bro.
Seth, bring the microphone just a little bit to you, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you say it, I need your radio voice.
I have to remind Well, if you need a minute, 878-510-4. While Tim and Trevor Dane on your radio. Okay, it's Thursday, 9:52 in the PM. Next up, Sade. Is it a crime?
Ladies, remember he's single. Ladies, he's single.
We did that. We was getting calls from the group home and the whole night. We started at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Who's up? Oh no, it's not time for that.
Now to wrap it up.
I wanted to say
From the group home.
on the tail of what Tito said,
Yes.
as he gave me some props, I gotta give the props back to again your brother and these other two brothers, because it was Tito and I that rolled up in their apartment that needed a place to stay.
Hey, did you hear I use that language from the hood class? Tito and
I was an English student when we started high school.
wow, I left.
So
Okay.
So let me let Tito finish his piece,
Yeah,
and then we
no,
can come around.
Yeah, I just want to wrap up by saying when I moved in with these guys, that's when I met Tennyson. Well, I knew Tennyson before that, but I stayed with him up in the attic. And yeah, we was in the attic, dude. Yeah. Yeah, remember? Wes.
Listen,
And you know,
listen. It was tough, and
It
that was
was,
the only
yeah.
that was the only place that space was available. So
yeah.
you made it work.
Yeah, we made it work, man.
Okay.
We made it work.
They put us
So
up.
then, no, Seth, I got one more thing, Seth, and then I'm gonna finish. I'll pass it on. Then you could go on. You could go
I
on.
didn't mean that.
The last thing I want to say, like meeting every week at 6 o'clock, doing the Zoom. It's just like Chef said, it's therapeutic. It's a blessing. You know, there was one time I met right here who called me, and I was going through some crazy shit, bro. And I just started crying. And whoop, somebody on the other hand. And I'm like, yo, Uga, what was trying to? Nah, he gave me some advice, bro, that made me realize he was Tito. God put things in front of you that he knows you can handle. And I was like, yo, bro, that was the day I was going to get my stuff checked out to get rid of the cancer. And man, yo, bro, I'm cancer free, bro.
Uka's a soother.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Uka's a soother.
Yeah.
You don't know. He's a healer.
This should be my last one. This is my last one, guys. Let me tell you something. When you pray and ask God for help, I'm proof that God works. And God is real. And whatever problem you're going through in life, bro, just pray to God. And I guarantee you, bro, your problem's gonna be fixed. I'm not lying, bro. I'm proof of it. You can see my medical records, bro. I feel my muscle, bro. It's hard now.
That's what's up. No, but you invite him to the slam for me.
Boys, that's what's up. Guys, I love you guys. Let's enjoy this weekend. This is a blessing. Let's make it more of a blessing, bro.
yo, I really appreciate it, and God is always listening, even if He doesn't answer you immediately. He's always listening.
Yes.
So He may not be there when you want Him, but He'll be there.
But he's always on time.
He's always on time. Always on time. So just remember that. So I appreciate you for bringing God in the middle of this conversation. And I just want to say, something to God for a quick second. Those Heineken that's on there, it's not mine.
But the wood worse. So what does God drink? What do you got against Heineken?
God can drink whatever He wants. God can drink whatever He wants. But I'm just pointing out to God that those Heinekens on the table right now, it's not mine, God. I'm drinking water. So again, thank you, Tito. Your story, you sit back and telling your story at one point when in our previous conversation, our one-on-one conversation, I wanted to cry. So I appreciate you sharing your story, because not everybody would be willing to share their story the way you did. And if your story, and this is my belief, if your story can help just one person, I'm not saying thousands, hundreds, tens, or millions. If your story can change one person's life, it was a wonderful and great story. Give thanks to God. So I appreciate you sharing that story, man.
And thanks to the villagers that make this possible to say that. Because half the problem is we don't want to share it because we think we're alone. But when we expressing what you just said, it's because we have a village of support and we've learned. I think Tito and I talked about that too. He wasn't sure he wanted to share it. And I'm like, dude, you need to get it out there into the world because you don't know how many people love you and how much, even though we're separate, we've gone through a lot of different things, but a lot more similar than.
Yes. So I appreciate it. And so without further ado, not the last person. He's just sitting at the end of the table, but never the last person. You know,
So cool, so calm, so collected. It's Uchi.
You know what? I'm not even going to introduce him. I think things are just did it.
So
Cool, calm, and collected. Uchi.
Exactly.
Hey, check
The soother.
Yes, sir.
The regulator.
this. I think everything happens for a reason. Like I always say when I'm with brothers, because you know, the stories that we tell, I think it's very important that we share, like Seth just said. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to hold things in, you know, and not share with people that you know, people that you don't know. And what I want to say first before I forget is Tennyson. Tennyson always had, we all know this about Tennyson. He wanted to make sure everybody around him was okay. You know, he was always second in the equation. And I think we talked about this during the Zoom, that Tennyson, in his own way, put this together to be here. You know what I mean? Tonight with us, we all on the same picnic. We listen to this for Tennyson. You know, we got homecoming band, we got shirts up here that we had the page we had pinned up. You know, because all this, because we kind of lost him in the physical, but he's here still through it. So hats off for the Tennyson. I know he's watching us, you know, smiling, probably looking for some things to sing to himself.
you're saying that you get through the text. I mean, he's looking.
Oh my God.
Yo, we always communicate with it in all ways. So
Reach out and touch somebody.
real. So I just want to, you know, make sure that, you know, again, sure we put Tennyson, sure we bring him up again. And also, was Pedro, who had no idea what to pick up a meal for us. You know what I mean? And that's to say something about this group. You know what I mean? Everybody had their own individual talents, and Pedro was in the kitchen cooking it up, and it was good. It was good, and just reminded me how you are disconnected. I guess when you guys were together, how you had to get together, you had to make that food, you had to make whatever you had, ramen noodles, whatever you had to develop up to make it work. You know what I mean? And that I just saw that.
Just because your mom was nearby.
But I'm gonna say this because everybody's story, everybody left a certain place, even though it was really that far to get away from where they were. I left about half an hour to get to First State. You guys left 7 hours to get to First State. You know, we all had a reason. We all had to get out on our own and figure this thing out. And nowadays, you know, our kids, you know, they get out, they're in home for a bit, but they're not personally, they still attached to us a little bit. Once we turned 18, that was it. We were like, yo, wow. Then Frank would talk with Frank was like, yo, I had to get out of here. Frank brought his brother. Frank is the leader by nature. Just conversations with Frank and getting to know him. You know what I mean? He just has a leadership quality about him. So, you know, I'm sure that as we discuss this thing, but I think we all have so much in common that it brings us together and it just makes us one. So I just really appreciate being with you brothers. And I look forward to the next 40 years. But we do this thing obviously before then. You know,
I'll be 100.
I don't think it's gonna be another 40 years.
Listen, man, son, you gonna be here, son. Bring out there. You gonna be here, man. You gonna be here.
Can I ask?
Hey, that's
about
a
30 years, bro? You wouldn't have said that much, bro. Because again, you came in, nobody ever knew what's on your shoulder. You just interacted. You was always mild-mannered. No weak, none of that bullshit. But you just, I ain't got nothing to prove. I'm just hooped. I'm coming here. Whatever we doing, love you, bro. I see you developing, man.
Thank you.
And then, again, when I said thank you for you welcoming us here, we brought you to New York.
What? Yeah, for sure. Help me out.
Be your lovely wife.
No, I'm not here, but yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt, but I miss y'all, man.
it's fine.
And I'm gonna participate a little bit better, but I need y'all to know this stuff
No, that's what it's about.
because it never left.
No, for real.
That's what it's about, as Luke said, right? You know, we do this every Saturday. I know you've been really busy because you.
Right.
No. You've been
Thanks for
really.
your kind. Thanks for your kindness.
Hold on, no. You've been really busy because you just landed, a
new
really
gig,
nice
yeah.
gig and stuff like that. So that takes your time and stuff like that. So we totally understand. So that's what brothers are about, right? We understand. We understand when someone is unable to do certain things. We still keep in touch. We still talk. I'm going to harp on this a little bit. Frank doesn't send me all the mangoes, but I still love him. So I'm saying, well, we understand these things. We get it.
I haven't gotten any mangoes.
Oh, I don't feel bad. I get money.
Listen, and I don't see one for about 10 years. About Frank. Thank you, Frank.
People that have been to my house in Florida and come to my house again and pick their own mangoes.
Yo, Frank, I'm sorry. I didn't need to blow your spot up like that.
Especially in the village, anything goes. Because it's all around. Even when it's just turning your beans.
So
And he's been pinching tonight. So it's okay.
So yeah, definitely he's been pinching.
Chef.
Yes, sir.
So
Sorry, did I interrupt you too?
No, I'm good, lady.
He was the first one introduced.
You're number
Yeah.
two. You're number one, number two.
Uncle.
You're that
So no, I never play because Chev has done some hosting for this stuff and sometimes Chev takes over and then Oops kind of jump in and do his thing and stuff like that. So it's not